Alright, well, getting the work done on the undercarriage for this thing today. Got more rain yesterday and last night, so this is probably going to be the weekend project. But anyway, got this thing out from underneath the elevator. Actually got to looking at it and realized that the ends of the frame at the hinge point were rusted and blown out, and this side looks bad. The other side was worse. The other side was like that. Like, it's a good thing that this was under compression and not being yanked on, because you'd have pulled it right in two. So I already got this side done because I wanted to make sure that what I was going to do was going to work. Basically all I did, because what they did obviously is they made a pipe frame and smashed the ends down and punched a hole in it, which was probably part of the problem. Somehow, I'm guessing, well, actually, when they smashed it, there was probably at the top and the bottom of the smash, there was probably some small holes that allowed water to get in there, and it probably started to expand it and rust it, and it just over time turned into that. So what I did was, luckily when they crimped it, it came out to an even 3.5 inch dimension. So I just took some 3.5 by 3/8 flat stock, bored a hole right in the center, cut 3.5 inches off so that I made a nice square, and butt welded it on there. So, and then they have these collars on here so that the frame isn't smacking the wheel or pushing on the wheel. So the wheel's not what's holding the frame together. It's actually got a hard stop. And it took me a second to figure out that they had slid those on there and had a hole and plug welded them, because there's so much grease packed in there I couldn't see the plug weld until after I heated it with a torch to try to figure out why it wouldn't spin, and I burned all the grease out of the weld pool, and then it came apart real easy after that. So, like I say, this side is done. I think it came out pretty good, so got to do that side now. Alright, so the first thing I had to do, actually, well, that might give you a better vantage point, somewhere in there. First thing I had to do before I ground that weld off was split that collar so that I got something to get a hold of. And go in there and gouge as much of that weld or plug weld out of there as I can with a hard wheel. Come on, start on there. Come on. Oh, I see, that one wasn't quite centered. Come on, get off of there. that. Then take a slitter wheel. I was really hoping to be able to use the carbide saw for this, but I can't get it to fit in there. One of the guys at work who's an old millwright calls cutoff wheels suicide saws, because when they explode they go everywhere. There's that. Now I gotta jack that thing apart with a porta power so that I can get in there and clean it up. Okay, so I'm ready to get it on there, and if you notice, it's obviously crooked as hell, but I just want to get it tacked, and we'll fix that in a second. So apparently my ground's a little iffy. And as crusty as this is, it welds kind of weird. I noticed that when I was doing the other side. Okay, now I gotta take a porta power and put it between the legs and spread them apart so that I can get that thing back out straight. Okay, now it's fairly straight again, at least to what it used to be, so we can go in there and tack the backside. And that should hold enough to let me get rid of the porta power. Get that thing out of the way. Now we can go in and weld her solid. Hopefully the welder doesn't screw the camera up. I guess we're going to find out. Seems like I've done this, or seems like I filmed welding with it before and it didn't bother it, so I think we'll be alright. You're on the back side of the axle, so into a hunk of shit. Problem is, when you clean this thing up, it still has rust in between where it's pinched, and I keep finding that. The other side did the same thing. Then you just got to go in. They have that collar set 2 inches off the plate, and plug weld that on there. Oh, it would definitely help if I was grounded. Definitely help if I was grounded. And then, apparently this thing lost a wheel bearing or something at some point. There's a big old gouge there in that pipe. Try to weld that shut real quick. If I can get ground off of it. Yeah, this is gonna be ugly. I don't know. That's not as bad as I thought. And there you go. And I tell you what, this kind of impressed me. I figured sure as shit those were just going to be chilled hubs running on a piece of steel round stock that they stuffed in there for a spindle. They've actually got roller bearings in there. There's some big old bastards. But that kind of impressed me, really. I didn't figure they'd have any sort of bearing in there whatsoever. Okay. Here. Let's quiet it down a little bit, or yeah, that's quiet enough. So if you remember when I drug this thing home, this strut right here has a bow in it, and the center is right about where the winch is. So I skipped right over asking nicely, and I got the 1600 holding it down there, and I got it stuffed under the drawbar at 55 here so it can't move. And we're gonna pick up on the center in the forklift, or with the forklift. That don't look too bad, really. Get it out from underneath the 55 if I can look right down it, but that looks pretty damn good. Come on. What am I hung up on? This is kind of hard to do one-handed. I really don't want to have to move everything. I think it's going to force me to, though. Oh, that's a lot better. Looks like there still might be a hickey right about here. pretty straight past that though. Get set back up real quick. There, I choked up on it a little bit with 16 so that it wouldn't bend back past where I just straightened it. I moved a little. Hopefully it wasn't too far. I was picking the damn 55 up. Oh damn, I think it was too far. Well, I managed to get it fairly straight. I overbent this, and then I had to go back and rebend or straighten it back out. Well, then it put the same bend back in it. So then I ended up pushing on it different, and that went back out straight. And then it was, as it would turn out, this one was bowed right here as well. And then that one was bowed right there. And there's still a little bit of a bow from that pipe out, but with that carriage in the way, there's not really a good way to get a hold of it, and it's going to make a difference anyhow. So, but with that, the undercarriage should be ready to go, except for a better set of tires, which will come at a later date. So, anyway, I guess that does this one. We'll catch y'all on the next one.